What's up, guys? My name is Mallen. I'm the owner of First Light Fishing Co. I'm 19. I've been fishing since I was 5 years old, so I have over a decade of fishing experience. I've helped put over 10,000 fish in the net for myself and for my clients. A lot of people don't catch fish. I don't want you to be one of them. So, in this video, I'm going to tell you the story of how I started First Light. So, way back when, probably 6+ years ago at this point, when I first started salmon fishing, I was in Oswego because I had heard that there was a run of salmon there. And I heard about the run from kind of a funny story. So, my dad saw an ad on Facebook on Marketplace, and this old dance studio near Oswego was giving away all their theater chairs. And they were free if you took them all and removed them yourself. So my dad got the trailer, got the whole family. He's like, we're doing this all day, let's go. Because he wanted to get the chairs and then sell them in groups of like 5 or 6 chairs, but they had hundreds. So we get there, we look at the whole theater, and we're like, damn, it's going to take literally all day. So my dad had one of those Harbor Freight drills. It was like black and orange one. Go to the first bolt, take it out, has no power. The drill's charged, it just doesn't have enough power to undo that bolt because it's been in the concrete for like 50 years. So we're like, shit, now it's even harder. Now we gotta take all of them out by hand. So we get the little Craftsman ratchet, and we're going, we all got ratchets. We spent the whole day, sun up to sundown, taking these chairs out. And we get them in the trailer, the sun setting, and the lady's like, have you seen the salmon running at Oswego? We're like, no, we're in New York, there's no salmon here. Like, what are you talking about? So he's like, drive to this lock, drive to this spot, and look. So we're like, screw it, we got the trailer on, but we'll find parking. So we drive into Oswego, we go down to the lock, and there's 2 guys fishing there. They have long rods, they have like big bobbers, and they're fishing like what looks like grapes. And those grape-looking things ended up to be skein. They were fishing skein in the Oswego locks for the king salmon. And they show us their stringer. And when they're pulling it up, I swear it looked like a mermaid's tail. This giant, like 30+ pound king just swinging its tail around. And they show us, we're like, there's freaking salmon in Oswego in New York? Like, I never knew that before. So now I'm like, all right, they're catching them. I want to catch one. I've caught, up to this point, I had caught, bass, carp, bluegill, stream trout, like stripers, like literally everything, and had gotten very good at those aspects and those species of catching those species of fish. But I had never caught salmon. I never caught steel. I never caught like a lake run brown trout of any kind, or a lake run fish of any kind, for that matter. So we go back the next day, and at this point it's literally late November. So it's beyond the prime. We had no clue what we were doing, and now it's snowing. And I'm tossing crankbaits for salmon in the lock, and I'm fishing skein for salmon in the lock. And I have a little ugly stick that's made like for crappie. It was like a light bass, heavy crappie rod, 6.5 foot. I'm tossing the Rapala J13, pretty big lure. Reeling. Eventually, after like 100 casts, one smacks it.
Oh, that's a fish. Fish. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my god, that was huge.
I set the hook, and I had found that lure there. I had found that lure just floating in the lock. So whether it had been the hooks were like not sharp, or the rod had no power, or both, I missed the fish, but I got a bite. This guy pulls up. He's kind of crazy guy, and he has a Calcutta on like some fancy cork handle flow rod. and he's fishing skein, and he's running the lock, running different areas of the lock with skein for like 2 hours, doesn't even get a bite. And he says, I don't like to leave Oswego without catching fish. So we go down to the lower lock, like right near the Oswego Harbor, right near the hotels there. And you can't fish it now, it's all fenced off. We were fishing that, and I tossed an egg sack on, tossed it out, and we were probably fishing, 12 feet of water. I was only fishing 5 feet down. Blue egg sack, eventually a salmon smacked it. And I reeled up to it, I set that hook, and this might be on my old YouTube channel. I reposted it. I had to take my old channel down because I made it with a school email. Long story. So the footage might be there. If it is, I'll throw it in.
Oh, my. Fish. Yep. Doesn't feel that big. Yep. Feels really small. Oh. No, popped off.
And I reset it, and I'm reeling it. Hook set was crap. Rod didn't have enough bend to it. Wasn't long enough. All this. But the biggest thing, I didn't have the experience of landing such big fish in tight quarters. I lose the fish. I was fishing with a friend. He ends up hooking a big brown trout for like half a second, comes off, and now I'm hooked. Like literally, I'm hooked. And I wanted to catch a big fish. And I wanted to catch these fish consistently because I only live like half an hour from Oswego, and now the shop that I'm recording in today is only 15 minutes from Oswego. And this was, again, like 6 years ago. I was hooked from that on. So I kind of gave up the ice fishing for a while, gave up crappie, bluegill, stream trout, carp. I was big into carp fishing, gave up all that, and literally pursued everything to do with steelhead, salmon, and lake run brown trout. I watched videos all day long. I fished all the time because I wanted to get really good at catching these fantastic fish. I go back to the lock the next weekend, and there were a couple Asian guys there, and they were just crushing it. They were using husky jerks for palas, and they were kind of pausing it, and the salmon would come up and smack it. They were like purple or red. Not too big, probably like that big. And they were just crushing the salmon. And they caught one, and up to this point, I didn't know if it was male, female, whatever. They catch one, it starts spraying out eggs. Because the female salmon, when they're in the spawn mode, they have eggs in them, and when they're stressed, they release the eggs. So he's holding the fish, and this is just spraying out eggs. And I'm like, that's like caviar, isn't that valuable? And they kind of spoke English, so he's like, get a bag. So I get a Ziploc bag, and I'm holding it under the salmon, and he's just squeezing all the eggs out into the bag. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with these. I don't know if I can eat them or what. But I take them home. I have probably like 3 or 4 pounds. And I look up what to do with king salmon eggs. And a couple caviar videos come up. But more importantly, like below the caviar videos, bait videos come up. How to cure eggs, how to tie egg sacs. I'm like, what? I was just fishing with an egg sac, but I didn't know you could make it like from scratch. So I look up like how to cure eggs, to tie egg sacs. And the Bill and Mike angling video, I'm pretty sure, on their channel, they fish like Burt Dam and stuff like that all the time. And it was a salt cure. Like salt, I got salt right in the pantry. So I get canning and pickling salt, dump it in the water, pour the eggs in, and within like probably 10-15 minutes they were nice and plump, and I couldn't pop them. No matter how hard I squeezed, I couldn't pop them. So they get cured, I take them out of the water, and I was trying to tie egg sacs, and I'm terrible at it. I'm trying to tie them, the eggs are spilling out of the mesh, they're way too big, way too small. Eventually, after like 10 mess ups, I get it. And now I'm tying them just one at a time, and they're looking really, really good. So I tie up all 3 or 4 pounds worth, get, I don't know, a couple hundred sacks done. I'm not sure how many. Then I look up on eBay, like, can you sell them? Is it legal to? Is it like, will they sell? So eBay, guys sell egg sacs, and they're selling pretty consistently for decent money. And then on like Google, I look up and it says, in New York, yes, you can sell salmon eggs, but you can't sell trout eggs. So I'm like, all right, cool. I get containers. I don't buy containers. I go to Five Guys and get their ketchup sauce, little crappy containers with the top on it. And I get those. I package them by the dozen, and I toss them on eBay. Free shipping. I was doing like $9-10 a dozen because shipping is like $4. I'd make a little bit of money, a few dollars, after eBay fees and all that. Make the listing. Put my phone or my iPad. I put my iPad on the table, and I leave. I check in the next morning. I had sold every single listing that I made of egg sacks because this was just getting into steelhead time, being like mid-November. And I'm like, okay, I guess I guess these things sell. So now I'm packing them up. I don't ship them in boxes. I just put them in like a padded envelope, ship them out, and I start getting all these complaints. Like, the eggs arrived crushed in a big sticky mess. Like the one that I shipped to Brooklyn must have got crushed, and that container had no rigidity, so the eggs just squished, and you got a big pile of mush. So I refunded everybody because if I didn't deliver a quality product, they shouldn't pay. So I refunded everybody that had a problem with it. A few made it fine. I refunded everyone that had a problem with it. I'm like, all right, seems lucrative. Like, it seems doable. Let me get some real containers and some boxes. So I get actual hard plastic egg vials, and I get boxes to ship them in. I don't know where I got them from, like probably all from Uline or something. And all right, tie up again, tie up another however many. I got eggs from a egg supplier, or I had some left. I don't know. So I might have had some left of the first batch. But tie them up, toss them on eBay, and literally like 10 minutes go by. Cha-ching, 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 they start selling like crazy. And I sell out again pretty much everything that I listed. Pink was the best seller. Chartreuse sold good. Blue sold okay. White sold okay. Orange sold pretty good too. And then I started doing mixed listings. So I'd do one where it was like pink, orange, and chartreuse. And it'd be like a 2 dozen. So that way you can buy one listing and get access to 3 different colors. Because that way when you're fishing, if one color works but the other one doesn't, or one does, you can switch colors depending on the time of day and stuff like that, and what the fish want. So I ship them all out, and I started getting really good feedback. I started getting all like A+ positive feedback on eBay. Guys saying like they're awesome, they catch fish, they freeze well, and like they're not mush when they arrive, which is good. That was 5 or 6 years ago. I was in 10th grade when I first did that, I think. Late 9th, early 10th grade, so around COVID. And I was telling my teachers about it, like I'm tying these egg sacks, I'm selling them, like, oh, cool. They didn't think anything of it, like a little side thing, little craft, little fun thing to do. I sold a little bit that season, fished for steelhead the next spring. Come the next salmon season, now I know, okay, the fish were in there late September, early October. I'm going to catch my own fish and catch a lot, so I have a lot of eggs to sell over the next few months. So I start catching them. You know, the limit's 3 a day for salmon, and at that point I wasn't very good, so I wasn't getting 3 a day. And I was fishing for them legit. I wasn't snagging, wasn't flossing, I was float fishing for salmon on Salmon River and Oswego. So I get like a few fish a day, 1 or 2, and bring them home, cure them up, and now I have eggs. But I sold out of all the eggs within the first month or 2. So now I got an egg supplier. Now I got like a mesh supplier, so I'm buying the mesh in bulk to get better pricing. And start tying egg sacks. And I do that same thing for the next 2 years. Before school, I'd be up at 5 a.m. I'd tie from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. And when I get home from school, I get home at 3, I would tie or pack packages from 3 to 4:30. At 4:30, I'd either bring the packages to the mailbox or have my dad drive me to the post office and ship them out. I did this literally every single day before school. 5 a.m., up, tie an egg sack. 7 a.m., go to school, come back at 3. Pack or tie from 3 to 4:30, post office, boom. And I was tying them in my parents' basement, and it was like an old office space. I have terrible allergies, so I'd be kind of gross. I'd be sneezing, not on the egg sacks, but I'd be sneezing just in general because it's so dusty. I'd be sneezing to the side and stuff. It was so dusty, my allergies would be so bad, my eyes would be puffy, and I'm tying egg sacs, and I'd be tying so many in the salt cure that my fingers would dry out. And now my fingers were cracking, my fingers were bleeding. I was tying egg sacs to the point that my fingers would bleed. Had the bright idea to try gloves. That solved that problem, tying them with gloves on, and kind of just scaled it to the point where I literally could not keep up with how many I was selling. I could not tie enough to meet the demand of the orders. So I upped the prices a little bit, and I had my parents start helping me tie egg sacs. So if I can find the photos from a while ago, I'll toss it on the screen. But I had my grandma come, she lived near Ithaca. She came up, my dad and my mom, and we had a table in our living room that we'd lay out mesh all day, lay out the eggs, and I'd tie every single one of them. And one morning, like we thought we'd have like a chill day, you know, tie a couple dozen, ship them out. I checked eBay. I had sold 50 dozen over the course of that night. So we were tying for many, many hours that day. And tying them up, shipping them out. And it got to the point where I was actually staying home from school. I'd go into school late, I'd miss half a gym class, and eventually I'd go in at like lunch. I'd just miss whatever class I had in the morning, like math or science or gym. So be it. I got egg sacs to do, I got orders to meet, and if I don't meet those orders, I'm gonna have some unhappy customer, which is never a good thing. So I just say, screw it. I go into school late. I got orders to do. Teachers would give me shit for it, but that's a trade-off I was willing to make, you know? I was making money, teachers are mad, so be it. And I did this until like all through senior year. I graduated high school in 23, so I did it up until that point. So from like COVID to 23, that was like 3 or 4 years of just tying egg sacs, shipping them out, doing like every day. Of course, in the summer it didn't sell much, but fall, winter, and spring I was tying egg sacs. That's all I did. Tying egg sacs and fishing. You know, that's pretty much it. After senior year, you know, the business was doing decently well. My parents were like, "All right, it's time to start applying to colleges," and I'm like, "No." Like, I never liked school. I hated every second of school from kindergarten to senior year. I don't want to go to school. You know, I'd rather literally do anything else than go to school. So like, just apply to Oswego, because then you can go there and you can fish. I'm like, okay, cool. I applied to Oswego. That was the only school I applied to, and I got accepted. And it's getting to the point where it's like finalizing your decisions or whatever. My dad's like, "You're going to school." My mom's like, "I'd like you to go to school," you know. And I told him, like, I'll go for a month. I'll go for a month. I'll see if I like it, and then go from there. Because I was thinking I could go there, try to run the business, maybe come back like 1-2 days a week and pack stuff up, but the shipping times would be terrible because the customers would be waiting at 3 or 4 days at a time. That wasn't it. So it was either kind of go to college and the business dies, or don't go to college. And I do things 100%, so I said, I'm not going to college. My dad did not like it at first. My mom was kind of okay with it. Hello, First Light Fishing.
Hey, what's going on, man? Is it slow?
It is.
What's up, man?
Got cut off there for a few minutes. That was kind of hectic. I had a phone call, then I had a customer come in, then I had another customer come in, then I had another customer come in. My mom was calling me. I'm back. So we cut off at the point where I decided that I wasn't going to college. And from that point forward, I knew I had a year to make it work. Either it works or it doesn't. I know you should never have to prove yourself to people, but it was kind of like I had a gap year after high school to kind of prove to my parents that this was a legit business model. And I don't know, like, not that I had to prove it to them, but I kind of had to show them that I'm going to put in the work and that it's the right choice for me not to go to college. You know, now it's full time. Before it was morning before school, evening after school, sometimes taking a half day or like not going to school like for the half day. So that was kind of part-time business. Now it's full time. And I'm I'm like, all right, I sell egg sacs. Why don't I scale to selling other products too? Because fishermen need rods, reels, just as much as they need bait, you know? So it's kind of like a lot of guys have their rod and reel, but they had to buy it from somewhere. So for those new fishermen getting into it, or those guys that want to upgrade their stuff, why couldn't I be the one that they buy it from? I kind of started to scale, still doing the bait, still like trying to get more products, rods and stuff, but it's hard when you're not a legit business. Like I have no LLC, I wasn't registered like any of the stuff that like I am now. So when you go to apply to get like deals with rod companies or real companies that ask for all this shit, I didn't have any of it, and I didn't have the money to get through the legal process of getting it. So it's like I was kind of stuck. So I'm like, all right, people, listen to people who know what they're talking about. I need to up my skills in fishing so that I can teach people, make money from it, use the money to scale the retail side of things. So literally, I should have posted more honestly on this journey, but I just balls to the wall, kind of just literally fished every single day. From the first day the fish were in Salmon River or in Oswego, I was there every single day. It got to the point where I literally did not want to go. Like fishing is my thing. I love fishing. But it got to the point like 5 days in a row of salmon fishing and dragging salmon back. I'm like, I do not want to fish anymore. But I still did to learn the skill of fishing so that I can teach other people and kind of shorten their learning curve. You know, I got into fishing center pin, like actual float fishing stuff, and just really got really hardcore into it. So literally from the time the salmon entered the rivers to the time the steelhead exited the river, so like really September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, so a little bit of May, let's call it 8 months. I fished over 200 days in those 8 months. So I really this was back at Oswego when you could cross the lock and fish the Leto side. I'd always do that. I'd go up to the dam sometimes, mainly just fish like mid-river from like just below the dam to like pretty much the end of like Lock 7 area. And I would literally fish pretty much all day. You know, most of the times I would fish from sunrise to noon. I'd come back, I'd either edit a YouTube video or I would tie the egg sacs and pack the egg sacs. But I was going literally every single day, whether it be Salmon River, Oswego, Maxwell Creek, Cayuga trips. I was fishing every single day to learn the skill. But it literally got to the point after like going 50 times to Oswego, I was like, I do not want to go. I do not want to go anymore. And I'm glad I did it, but fishing should never get to that point. Fishing should be something enjoyable that you like to do. And it should be separate from your work. You shouldn't feel like you have to do it, because if you feel like you have to do it, it's not enjoyable anymore. And honestly, like running a business that involves fishing, it did kind of like reduce my interest in it, because let's say you're a mechanic and you're dealing with cars all day, and then on the weekend you get to go fishing. It's awesome because it's different, and fishing is the hobby that you love to do. But cars, you don't want to deal with cars. You work with cars all day long, you're done with cars when you get home. But now for me it's kind of the opposite of that. I'm talking about fishing all day. I'm talking about like where to go, baits to use, making videos all day, packing orders all day. Like fishing is what I talk about from like sunrise to like 7 p.m. But that's literally what I talk about. So when I get out of work here, I want to go to the gym or I want to go drive a car, because it's different from the fishing. I still love fishing. I still fish 1 day a week typically. Before this I wasn't. Today's day 118. The shop, I keep track of all the days that I work right here. like how many guys came in, what time I got here. I have literally all the days tracked. So today's day 118. In the past 118 days that I've worked here, I've gone fishing 4 times. And I used to fish like last year every single day. So now that I have the systems in place and are getting good customers coming in the door more consistently, I'm going to take Mondays off, and that can be my fishing day so I can still maintain the skill, because Monday was the slowest day of the week anyway for the in-person sales. So I would take Sunday off, but I get a lot of guys coming in on Sunday because people like to fish Sunday. So Monday will be my Sunday. Anyway, so I fish every single day that first year out of high school, and keep doing the egg sack. So the egg sack's kind of going in the background, but I literally learn everything, and I have it tracked in my notes. Here, I'll show you. To get out the door quick in the morning, I had can't see shit. I had my checklist, like waders, boots, bags, snacks, just to make sure I had everything in the truck the night before. So in the morning, I can get up, get in the truck, and go. That way, I didn't waste any time, and I can get the most time on the water to learn the most skills. And so again, you probably can't see anything, but this is my notes. Fall 2023 catches. You can't really see the words, but literally, that's just 23, and it keeps going. All of the fish that I caught, like this day went 3 for 5 on steelhead. This day went 3 for 7 on kings, 2 for 3 on brown trout, 1 for 1 on steelhead. So literally, what I caught, when I caught it, what I caught it on. Again, you can't really see anything, but really detailed information so that I could learn, okay, this day the weather was like this bead worked at this time with this water flow. So I got down to a science, like what colors will work at what times of the day versus how turbidity affects it versus how, oh my God, bro. And I got it down to a science of like what will work at what time of the year, at what water clarity, at what water temperature this bead will work. So down to a literal science. Then in 24, I got even more detailed with it. Like I got a whole like a table going of like the date, the time where I caught it, and this goes on and on and on and on and on and on for a while. So over those days that I fished, I pretty much recorded every single thing, what baits worked, where they worked, how they worked, where I was fishing, like how much the fish wanted the bait versus how much I had to work for the bite. And I got everything down to a literal science. And again, I should have recorded more so that you guys could follow along my journey with this, but I didn't. I was too focused on just getting the fish and learning the knowledge. And keep in mind, that was all like fall of 23 and then into 24. That was when I really got hardcore. Like I had caught salmon and steelhead and trout before that over the previous like multiple years, but I got really into it, like hardcore into it, like 23, 24. After that, then the summer came. Over the last 2 summers, so last summer and the summer previous to that, I did couches because egg sack and steelhead and salmon sales would slow down a lot during the summertime because all the guys are out in the lake. No one's really in the rivers fishing at that time because there's no fish in there. So in order to still make money during that time, I'd do couches, and I could put some photos on the screen. Me and my buddy Ethan, and then my dad and my friend Jason would help sub in too sometimes. And we would literally go on Facebook Marketplace, find someone that's selling a couch that might need some cleaning up or some vacuuming or what have you. Go to their house, pay them for it, bring it home, clean it, and then put it back on Marketplace with delivery. We'd say free delivery. We did that last summer and the previous summer to that. And we must have moved between 50 and 100 sectionals, just doing it all day, every day. And my garage would be full. Like my parents couldn't even park their cars in the garage because of how many couches were stacked on top of one another. Last summer, I got a storage unit. I did sales out of that by just using my truck and my trailer. We do couches. And then fall of 23, okay, I'm doing decent online sales. People are loving my shipping times, my product selection, my prices, my service. I want to ramp this up. I'm packing out of my basement. I'm tying egg sacks on one table and packing packages on the other table. I want a legit spot that I can pack things up at. And then going to the post office, it was like a few miles from my house. But with the traffic at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, it'd take me half an hour round trip there and back. That's a lot of time that I could spend that time tying more egg sacks or doing something more productive. And this spot came up, the shop that I'm in right now. And this is in Hannibal. So it's just outside of Oswego. It's like literally 12 minutes from Oswego College. So it's right near the river. Guys can come in here and buy stuff and have an actual shop. You know, like there's some like pop-up shops around there, but there's high prices and poor service. We offer good prices and great service. Just the overall shopping experience is like no other here at First Light. And I truly believe that we have the best online and in-person fishing tackle buying experience. So this comes up, and it used to be a jewelry store. So we schedule with the realtor, we come in, and everything is pink. Every single thing is pink. The trim is pink. The wallpaper is pink. The display cabinets are pink. So everything is pink. And it smells bad because they had used the building for storage for 10 years. They kept the heat on and everything, but it just smelled like musty and gross. It didn't affect my allergies as bad as the basement at my parents' house did, but still a little bit. And then we go upstairs because it's a 3-story building. We go upstairs and it's packed to the brim in crap. I'm talking like filing cabinets and desks and bookcases and just a bunch of shit that they didn't want, the previous owners. They just tossed it upstairs. They just kept tossing it upstairs. The 3rd floor wasn't as bad, but still a bunch of shit. So luckily, my dad used to have a junk removal company with the same trailer that we used to move the theater chairs back earlier in the story. He had kind of stopped doing that because he got to the point where he was like getting older. He didn't want to be moving people's junk all day. Like hurt his back, hurt his neck, and he had to get neck surgery for it. But that's besides the point. We fired that avenue back up, and we spent literally all day, every day. When I closed on the building, I bought it in November, knowing that there'd be a lot of work to be done. And I wanted to open spring of, like the following spring. I bought it November 23. I wanted to open like spring of 24. But of course things take longer than expected. We ended up opening fall of 24. September 20th, 2024 is when we opened up. That was the first day. So we spent the first 2 months clearing all the shit out. Clearing out the wallpaper, the carpet, in the retail section here, all the junk on the next floor. And it was kind of good. There were some treasures, hidden within all the junk. But it was like probably 99% junk, 1% good. And I would kind of, because I, again, had like barely any money saved up for the renovations. So I would find something cool in here. Like it used to be a jewelry store, so like a kiln, for example. I'd put the kiln on Marketplace, find a buyer for it, sell it, use that money to do something in the shop. But it was very limited because we had very limited resources, limited money. We had the time, we didn't have much money, so things were very slow. And it was just my dad and I doing the whole thing. Keep doing that, sell something, get money, get rid of the thing, invest the money into the renovations. And we did that literally from November till like the spring. And it would be like sell something, get rid of shit, invest, boom, 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 boom. But just the clearing it out took months. Like that was how much stuff was in here. Working all day, every day. And I wanted the shop to be something that was like done right. I didn't want to just throw some fishing products in a room and call it a day. I wanted it to be something that I was very proud of, and something that like I would be glad for people to come in and buy fishing stuff out of. Kind of like the shop that I always wanted and never had. The shop that I always wanted to go to buy stuff, but was never a thing because it was either honky tonk tackle shop or it was Bass Pro Shops, and that's like more corporate at this point. So I wanted like a tackle shop vibe, but with good prices and like a good, clean experience. So that's kind of what we tried to create. So we're doing the thing where we sell stuff and use that money for renovations up until May. May, Ethan came back from college. So I'm like, yo, let's do couches again. Let's do couches, and I'll pay him. The deal was like he helps move and helps clean. I front the money for the deals. I pay for gas and my truck and the trailer, and I find the buyer, find the seller, connect everyone, and I give him a cut for helping me move it and clean it because I really couldn't do it by myself. So we come up with a deal. I start paying him, but all the money that I'm making is literally going into the shop. Like I buy a couch, sell a couch, profit 500. That money went straight to renovations. Like, okay, this sold this couch, cool. Now I can buy a pegboard. Sold this, okay, cool. Now I can buy subfloor. Now I can buy floor. Now I can buy stain. Now I can buy paint. You think it's going to be very simple. Once you get into it, you realize how many layers of renovation you need to do. Like the money doesn't go as far as you hope that it would, even doing the work yourself. I think all in all, I put over $10,000 of my own money that I made from selling couches into the renovation. Because again, you can't really see around the shop, but everything in the shop is new. Everything in the shop that you see is like something that we installed. The floor, the walls, the paint, the pallet wall. This is literally pallets from behind the UPS store. We get pallets and chop them up and we nail them to the wall. But even just putting this up, we had to paint the wall behind it. We had to put up furring strips. We had to do this. We had to make sure that they were level. Just this took weeks. But it's a big wall. And like the sign, like it's just so many layers to this shit. We're doing couches, taking the money, doing here. So kind of like one day I do couches, the next day I do renovations, and we go back and forth on that. And again, couches got to the point where I did not want to do it anymore, and renovations got to the point where I wanted to stop. Like it was so bad doing this every day because for a while during the demolition stages, we were taking down walls, we were ripping up the carpet. Every time you left, it would look worse than when you got there. So yes, you're making progress, but it doesn't feel like it because every time you leave, it looks worse than when you arrived. So it's kind of like flipped progress, but you have to go through that stage to get to the good part. We're doing that, and then by the time my birthday is in August, by the time August comes around, it's starting to look pretty good. We got the floor in, we're getting it stained, and just getting it stained took multiple days and doing the clear coat because you think for the floor, you just, take some floor and put it down. We did the subfloor, that was $1,000. We did the top floor, that was $1,000. Like literally every single big thing was $1,000. That's kind of how it is for real estate stuff. Learned a lot, and I'm glad I did it. But I'd be fine if I never have to do it again. That being said, little future note, I do plan on opening in Pulaski in the next couple years. Not sure a time frame yet, but I want a second location. So here in Hannibal, retail spot and shipping center, and then spot in Pulaski for another retail store, and then scale from there. Those are future plans. I'll probably have to do renovations again at a Pulaski spot. It won't be as hard as this because this building was built in the 1830s. So putting the floor down, the floor was like warped and everything, so that it wasn't as easy just clicking floor together. You had to compensate for the age of the building because things shift over 200 years. The dimensions of the room change a little bit, and that kind of messes things up. Because if one piece of flooring is off, then the next one's off, and the next one's off. Before you know it, you're 10 down, and it's just all wonky going at an angle. You got to undo it. Anyway, it's starting to look pretty good around like July and August, and now I'm like, all right, product time. So we get wholesale accounts set up with, Riversider rods and trout beads and Nova floats and like Lama glass, Okuma drywall, literally all the big companies. We get literally all the big companies that you want. We get wholesale accounts set up with them. And that takes money and that takes time. And we had to do the LLC, and then we had to do the trademark stuff. And then all this time, I'm still paying mortgage, I'm still paying electrical expenses, I'm still paying renovation expenses. So I have no money for myself. I'm paying myself nothing. I still pay myself nothing from the business. Everything gets reinvested back in because of my plans to expand and grow to multiple locations in the future. I'm still making no money from First Light. It all gets reinvested right back in. Now it's like September. We're getting the rod wall set up. We're getting pegboard set up. We're getting beads. Boom, 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 boom. And now it's starting to look like a shop. Now we're like, okay, we can set an opening date that we delayed a couple times. We ended up opening September 20th of 2024. And the previous night, we were literally putting prices on products and then putting it on the pegboard until midnight or 1 a.m. Then I had to open at 6 a.m. the next day. So I got no sleep, opened at 6 a.m., our first location. I had Eli, one of our customers, and Owen, one of my good friends. I sat next to him in high school during lunch. They were both here at 6 a.m., my first two customers, and that was day one. And I've literally, besides Christmas and Thanksgiving, I've taken 2 days off in the past 118 days. And those 2 days were to go fishing on a fishing trip at DSR with my good buddies. So literally, I've taken no days off the past 118 days. I've learned a lot, and I've been making content every day, packing packages every day, and doing all this stuff. And now the shop, I'll do a little filming so you can see it. So the shop is starting to look pretty full now. You know, got the lights going, got our POS system, a bunch of pinreels in the case that we sold out of most of them. A bunch of little displays. Our ice fishing section over there. Over here, apparel, our rod wall. So this is the wall that I'm filming behind with the First Light sign. We have our bait corner over here, which is minnows, fathead minnows in here. And then like spikes, egg sacs, wax worms, like all the good stuff. This right here, and then a couch from couch season, actually. That was from someone's storage unit. Genuine leather couch. And then the beam, the lighting all around the beam. Our rod wall, we can fit 40 rods all up and down the wall. And this will kind of change depending on season, whether it be like bass season or steelhead or salmon season, the rods kind of rotate. Apparel, boom, 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 looking good. And then back here, this is my packing station with a makeshift photo booth, but usually this is gone. And then I pack packages right here. That was a sign from when we were opening. So I pack here, I print the labels here, print them, and then I got boxes underneath and then boxes here. And that's kind of the setup right now. But it's a whole big room back here. So the goals in the future are first floor, retail space, second floor, packing area. Have a bunch of employees all packing packages because the post office is literally 2 doors down. So we can walk out, walk down, ship them out. So I'm thinking this back room could be more retail space. Get rid of the ugly drop ceiling, extend this wall over, and it'll be a nice little secondary room. Have more room for products. And it's a mess back here, I know, but we're thinking like that's the bathroom here, that's the basement. Right here, we're gonna install an outside entry. So put a door in right here. So that way when there's a wall here, retail, and then employees can come in here, go right up the stairs to the next floors to pack packages. All right, so now you saw the shop. I'll toss a couple photos of what it looks like outside so you can see, because we did a lot of outside work too. Put a sign up. We painted My dad stripped the paint off the brick to expose that nice red color again. A bunch of stuff, okay? Alright guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I know it was kind of long-winded, like pushing an hour at this point. But I just wanted to give the full, raw, unscripted version of my journey, how I came from literally the beginning to now, and then some goals for the future. So, if you guys want to catch more fish, I have a curated selection of fishing products on my website that I know are quality and will help you catch more fish. There's a link down in the description. It brings you right to the site where you can find all the products. All the products that are in our store are on the website, and we have quick shipping. It's literally like a 2-day shipping time, 2-3 day shipping time, depending on where you are. And if you guys want to check out the shop in person, we're located at 5 Village Square in Hannibal, New York, right near Oswego, like 10-15 minutes outside of the city of Oswego. A lot of good fishing around here. Good for ice fishing, bass fishing, pike fishing, salmon, steelhead, a little bit of everything. So it's a good general home base for some good water around here. So if you enjoyed the video, I would love it. It'd mean a lot to me if you clicked like and subscribe. I plan on posting a lot of really valuable videos in the future that I don't want you guys to miss out on. I hope to come back and watch this in 5 or 10 years and really relive the journey. It's kind of like a time capsule in a way, because 5-10 years from now, myself and you guys can come back and watch this video and see what goals we accomplished or what we didn't do or what direction the business took. So it's going to be cool to come back and watch it, like you're opening a little time capsule. So I really appreciate you guys watching. That's all for this video. See ya.